Tecumseh Road. And what I would like to see on Tecumseh Road is almost a Copenhagen model where you have segregated lanes, so there's lanes for bikes, that the traffic signals actually are built in to accommodate bike movements as well, and that bikes are not an afterthought of the infrastructure, but actual design, a design element of the infrastructure that we're putting down.
Mayor Dilkens, thank you so much for taking the time to meet
No
with us.
problem.
I do appreciate it.
No problem.
So when this airs, we'll be about 6 months into your mayoralty. How are things going so far?
So far, so good. It's been a good transition. So certainly, being a city councilor for 8 years helped, prepare me personally, and every mayor since 1935, roughly, to assume the mayoralty. So it's been a good transition. Been a part of things for 8 years. So to carry on, which is what I said I was going to do during the campaign. It's been able to hit the ground running, and it, certainly having the team. I kept most of Eddie Francis's team, so. I've kept all of Eddie Francis's team, quite frankly. So having those folks there and adding one more has certainly been allowed me to keep moving forward.
Were there any surprises or anything so far in the past 6 months?
I expected that the job would be really busy. I expected that, but it's even busier than I thought it would be. So, but every day I've gotten up, and I can say to anybody that, I tell my wife all the time, I love going to work, because I never know what the day's going to bring. There's lots of challenges, lots of excitement, and most importantly, lots of good things happening in the city.
So obviously, with your time as a city councilor, must have prepared you a little bit for this office. What would be a success in your eyes?
Yeah, I would say this term for me, I've said that I wanted to create that 20-year visioning document. We've started the process here, and we're going to go out to the public, have full consultation. Obviously, the elected leaders are going to be feeding into that dialogue, and we're going to come up with a plan that we think will sustain us for the rest of this term, a plan that we can implement, and then more importantly, a plan that we can take beyond a 4-year window and look future, future terms, and we'll chunk it all down into 4-year terms so it fits the political cycle as well.
All right. I want to talk a bit about your leadership style. There's many in the city who have suggested that you've got a very different style than your predecessor. Some in the media even suggesting that Mayor Francis, when he was in the office, was closed-minded in so much that he had his mind made up when he came to decisions, whereas others are suggesting that you're more open-minded and could potentially be swayed if there's merit to the argument. In this context, how do you view yourself as a leader of the city?
Well, I've always said, and I have a pretty basic tenet that I follow, that I'll get all the facts I can get, and I make the best decision that I think is right for the time, and I'll change my mind on that decision when the facts change. When and if the facts change, then I can be pulled if the situation changes. It's difficult to compare myself to Eddie Francis or to any other mayor, because you are. Being at the top is tough. I mean, it all depends what situations you're faced with and how you respond to those situations. That helps define, how people view you and how people view your success or your failure. And in the case of Eddie Francis, he had some extremely significant issues that were put in front of him, including the border, including the strike, including the great recession that we had. And so when I look at, and of course I was around for most of those things, when I look at what was accomplished under his leadership, I'm actually very proud of what we were able to accomplish, and he led the way on that. But I won't compare myself to him. I'll let people make those decisions. I know people are happy because I'm out a lot, and I like to get my hands dirty. So did he, and get into the pot and mix things around and see what people have to say. So I think we are, in a lot of ways, we have different leadership styles, and in a lot of ways we're also strong leaders. So, but I'll let people judge, what they think the differences are.
What does Windsor rather have to offer for 18 to 35-year-olds, people who are reading the Windsor Independent, for example?
Yeah, I think the city of Windsor certainly. If people are looking in Ontario or even in Canada for that matter, we have a great university. We have a very good college here as well. It's interesting because a lot of people will say, hey, there's not a lot of job opportunities here for the 18 to 35 crowd. And I'll always think of my own 2 kids. What do I want for my own 2 kids who are 13 and 11 years old? And as much as, and I guess as selfish as I am, that I would want them to be able to go to university here and be able to stay here and do whatever they want to do here, that's not the new reality. What we see now are really centers of excellence coming up, and so different communities have different strengths. And if my kids, can get educated here, and find a career here, absolutely fantastic. But if my kids feel that they have better opportunity, or their area of expertise is better supported in another community, and that's not a skill set that we've worked on here or a priority that we've made, then I would expect them to go, follow their heart and their dream and go to the place that's going to excite them the most. That's all. We're a city where people make stuff, so we continue to support that. But at the same time, we know we need to diversify our economy. But it's not something you do that you can change on a dime.
Regional transit is something that's been coming up fairly often in conversations. And
Yeah.
It seems as if maybe now is the time, maybe this is the conducive environment to actually have some meaningful conversations, to see action. What are the factors at this point that might be preventing regional transit, or why have we not had this conversation in a meaningful way really until about now?
It's a great question, and the City of Windsor, I think and everyone who reads your paper will know that the City of Windsor has a fully functioning transit system. We're the only ones in Essex County who do. And functioning and comprehensive, let's put it that way. And so we've got the resources, we've got the assets, and we could easily scale up to accommodate the wish of any other municipality to create that regional transit model, however that looks for the municipality. And but I think the point is we have the vehicle, no pun intended, that allows the scalability to add to our system to be able to hit the ground running and plug in to a full functioning system. Not on a moment's notice, but certainly give us a couple months, we can get all the resources we need and create the routes and get those things up and going. So in terms of the City of Windsor's perspective on this, we are more than willing at any time to we are a fully willing partner to sit down and have conversations on how to roll out a regional transit model. And yes, it costs money. There's no doubt every transit system in the world, save and except maybe New York City or some really dense urban area, every transit system in the world loses money. You don't deliver transit with the hopes that you're going to make a profit. Just like we don't open swimming pools and hope we'll make a profit, but we know that there are necessary requirements for a balanced city and a fully functioning city. Again, whatever you do and whatever you print, don't leave the conversation thinking that we're not a fully willing partner to sit down and have a conversation about how we can expand our transit service or how we can plug other transit services into what we already offer. And it frustrates me to no end to know that I can get a bus and take someone across an international border out to a concert in Auburn Hills, but I can't get them to Colasanni's. And you got the mayor here who's willing to listen and make changes, but it's not fair, and I don't think anyone would say it's fair for the City of Windsor and the residents of the City of Windsor and the taxpayers to fund a regional transit system for the benefit of other municipalities.
What's the city doing for bikers, but also for alternative transit?
So we talked about buses. Obviously, we're the automotive capital, so with that comes, we were known as the automotive capital. With that comes a strong history of people driving cars. So for us, it's not just an immediate shift. Some people I've spoken with have said, well, what if we charge for parking at every parking lot in the city, every library, every rec center, and we charge for parking, we take all that revenue, we dump it into transit and build a better transit system. I don't think that even if we did that and we improved the transit system, by 10%, whatever measure you use, by 10% or 15%, by taking that revenue, I still think we'd have a major cultural shift in the community to get people thinking that the bus is a good way to go. I think we could take Tecumseh Road, and what I would like to see on Tecumseh Road is almost a Copenhagen model where you have segregated lanes, so there's lanes for bikes, that the traffic signals actually are built in to accommodate bike movements as well, and that bikes are not an afterthought of the infrastructure, but actual a design element of the infrastructure that we're putting down. But I would like to at least take roads like Tecumseh Road. I would like to build in that capacity on some north-south road as well, so that we have segregated lanes for bikes that can go east, west, north, south in the city, and then roll out what the rest of it would look like on roads that are don't have as much traffic. I understand that there's a short list of no more than 5 that are being considered for potentially hosting this new hospital site. They'll have that decision sometime in the end of June or sometime in July. And the process is really well spelled out. I've spoken with David Mouche myself many times about this, but the process is really spelled out and the public can see it all online and the elements that are being considered in terms of this site selection process. I don't think that they're going to close 2 hospitals in the city of Windsor and move the new hospital out to the county. It doesn't make any sense. So I firmly believe the new hospital will be in the city of Windsor. I guess the other part that hasn't had a lot of dialogue in the community is that when they build this new hospital, they're not just abandoning Hotel Dewar, the downtown core. There will be some element of an urgent care facility. So 90%, as I'm told, 90% of ER visits don't result in admission. So they're planning on following a model that's in place elsewhere in Ontario, where they put in an urgent care facility. So basically a big ER room that does all the diagnostic work. But if you need to be admitted, they'll ship you over to the other hospital. They'll just treat you at this one and send you home. So there will be a presence in the downtown core somewhere by way of this urgent care facility. So there'll still be health care in the downtown core. You know.
So, want to just wrap up here with a few questions just about you. These are just one or the other. So, first
Sure.
question: are you?
Is this the lightning round? Like I have to write this on the board again?
We're gonna
With flashbacks. Okay. All right.
Are you a Netflix guy or a cable guy?
I'm a cable guy. I've had Netflix, but I just didn't find I was getting my $8 or $9 a month out of it. I didn't have enough time, so I got rid of it because I just couldn't use it enough. So cable. Plus, I can watch Kojako 11, which I have to in this job. Love House of Cards. Watched all 3 seasons. Anxiously awaiting the the continuance of the season. Want to see if she actually runs and see what happens there. Love House of Cards.
Cats or dogs? An easy one.
Neither.
Neither.
No, allergic to pet dander, so we don't have any pets except a goldfish at our house.
Goldfish? Okay.
Goldfish,
What's
yeah.
the goldfish name?
We don't have a name.
You don't have a name?
No,
What?
no. No name.
Okay.
No.
The viewers might be a little confused by that.
Yeah, well, the things live forever, so let's call her longevity.
Red Wings or Maple Leafs?
I'm definitely a Red Wings fan. Really, you got Red Wings or Maple Leafs. It's all about the Express for me, Windsor Express.
American or Lafayette Coney dogs?
I don't know the difference.
Okay. That's a segment. We'll have to bring you over and get a...
Okay, I've been over. I've had Coney dogs. I just don't know the difference between the two.
Walk through Williston Park or down Riverside Drive?
I'm going to go Riverside Drive.
Riverside Drive. And
Yeah.
Are you a craft beer or domestic beer kind of guy?
I actually am not much of a beer guy.
Okay.
Yeah, I gave beer up in 1998. No beer, no beef.
Okay.
Now, I will occasionally, if I'm somewhere and they don't have wine or something like that, I will have a beer, and I enjoy every moment of it, but I don't buy it at home, and I don't order it when I go out.
Okay.
I like a nice glass of red wine. That's my...
Nice glass of red. Well, you're
Or
supporting
a
County.
vodka soda.
Or a vodka.
Yeah, with lime.
We'll keep that in mind.
Yeah.
Well, perfect. Thank you so much for your time. Really do appreciate it.
No problem.